Let me tell you about someone named Alex. 5 years ago, Alex made $40,000 a year. Back then, Alex had a dream. A simple one. If I could just make 60,000, Alex thought, everything would be different. I'd finally feel comfortable. I'd stop worrying about money. Well, fast forward to today. Alex now makes $70,000 a year, more than that old dream number. And here's the strange part. Alex still checks his bank account with the same knot in his stomach, still feels stretched by the end of the month, still says the exact same sentence he said 5 years ago. I just need to make a little more, and then I'll be fine. More money came. The comfortable feeling never did. And if any part of that sounds familiar, if you've ever gotten a raise you were thrilled about, only to look up 6 months later and wonder where it all went, then I need you to keep watching. Because what happened to Alex is not a discipline problem. It's not a math problem. It's a psychology problem. And it's happening to almost everyone you know, quietly, in the background, right now. So let's talk about why you can make good money and still feel broke. Here's the belief almost all of us carry around. We think being broke is about the number. We think there's some magic income where the stress finally switches off. Hit that number, and you've made it. You relax. You breathe. So we chase the number. We grind for the raise, the promotion, the better job, and we tell ourselves the same story every single time. Once I get there, I'll feel secure. But here's what nobody warns you about. That finish line moves. Every single time you get close to it, it quietly slides further away. And most people never even notice it's moving. They just keep running, confused about why they never arrive. To understand why, I want you to picture something simple. Imagine you're walking on a treadmill. When your income is low, you're walking at a slow, steady pace. It's tiring, sure, but you can keep up. Now you get a raise. In your head, the raise should let you slow down and catch your breath. But that's not what happens. Instead, the treadmill speeds up to match your new pace. So you're moving faster, earning more, and yet you're standing in exactly the same spot. Still running, still out of breath, still going nowhere. That treadmill has a name. Psychologists call it lifestyle creep. And once you understand it, you'll start seeing it absolutely everywhere. Here's how it works in real life. You get a raise. Let's say your take-home pay goes up by $500 a month. In the first week, you feel rich. You feel like you finally have breathing room. And because you feel that way, you make a few small, completely reasonable decisions. You think, I've been driving this old car for years. I deserve something nicer. So you upgrade. That's another $200 a month. You think, I work hard. I shouldn't have to cook every single night. So the takeout orders quietly go from once a week to 3 times a week. There goes another $150. You think, it's just a few dollars a month, and you sign up for 2 more streaming services, a nicer gym, a subscription box. Another 100, easy. And none of these feel like mistakes. That's the important part. Every single one of these decisions feels earned, feels deserved, feels small. But add them up, and that $500 raise is already gone, fully absorbed. And here's the kicker. Within a few months, all of it feels normal. The nicer car isn't a treat anymore. It's just your car. The takeout isn't a luxury. It's just dinner. Your spending quietly rose up to swallow your income, and your brain adjusted so smoothly that you didn't even feel it happen. That's the trap. Your lifestyle expands to match whatever you earn. So the gap between what you make and what you spend, it stays exactly the same. And that gap, not your income, is what actually determines whether you feel broke. Now here's where the psychology gets really interesting. Because you might be thinking, okay, so people just need more self-control. But it goes deeper than that. There's a concept psychologists talk about called the hedonic treadmill. It's a fancy way of describing something you felt your whole life. Whenever something good happens, you feel a spike of happiness, and then over time, you get used to it. You adapt, and that new thing becomes your baseline, your new normal. Think about the last big purchase that excited you. A new phone, a car, maybe moving into a nicer apartment. Remember how thrilling it was for the first week? And then remember how, a couple months later, it just became the thing you owned. The excitement faded, but the cost stayed. That's hedonic adaptation. We adapt to pleasure incredibly fast, but we keep paying the bill long after the joy is gone. So when your income rises and your lifestyle rises with it, you don't actually end up happier. You just end up with a more expensive version of the exact same stress. You upgraded everything except the feeling. And this is why people making $30,000 a year and people making $300,000 a year can lie awake at night worrying about the exact same thing: money. The number on the paycheck changed, The knot in the stomach didn't. Now let me show you the part that really matters. Because underneath all of this is one idea that changes everything once you understand it. Wealth is not what you earn. Wealth is what you keep. Read that again in your head, because our entire culture is designed to make you forget it. We're taught to measure success by income. What's your salary? What do you make? But income is just water flowing through your hands. If you let all of it flow straight back out, it doesn't matter how much comes in. Your hands are still empty at the end. Let me make this concrete with two people. Person one earns $100,000 a year, but spends $98,000 keeping up a lifestyle that looks impressive. Nice car, nice clothes, dinners out, the whole picture. To the outside world, this person looks rich, but they keep $2,000 a year. If they lost their job tomorrow, they'd be in serious trouble within weeks. Person two earns $60,000 a year and lives on 45. Nothing flashy, a modest life that doesn't turn any heads, but they keep $15,000 a year, every year, and they put that gap to work. Now who's actually wealthier? On paper, person one earns way more, but person two is quietly building something real, while person one is just funding a lifestyle that could collapse at any moment. The high earner is running full speed on the treadmill. The lower earner figured out how to step off it. Because here's the thing about that gap you keep, the difference between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is the single most powerful thing in your entire financial life. It's the money you can save. It's the money you can invest. It's the money that, when you put it into things that grow, quietly starts earning money on its own while you sleep. And that's the real reason lifestyle creep is so dangerous. It's not that you bought a nicer car. It's that every dollar your lifestyle swallows is a dollar that could have been building your freedom. Lifestyle creep doesn't just cost you money today. It steals from the version of you that could have been financially free 10 years from now. So what do you actually do with all of this? Let me give you something simple, something you can start using immediately. The next time you get a raise, or a bonus, or any bump in income, I want you to do one thing before you spend a single dollar of it. Pause, just for a moment, and instead of letting your lifestyle automatically rise to meet the new money, decide on purpose how much of it gets to change your life today, and how much of it goes to work for your future. Here's a simple version. When your income goes up, split the increase. Let yourself enjoy part of it because life is meant to be lived, not just survived. But take a real chunk of that raise before you ever get used to it and send it somewhere it can grow, automatically, before you even see it in your account. Because the trick is to build your future before your brain has a chance to adapt and claim that money as normal. The people who build real wealth aren't the ones who earn the most. They're the ones who, every time their income rises, refuse to let their entire lifestyle rise with it. They keep some of that gap, on purpose, again and again. And that gap is what quietly turns into freedom. And you don't need a six-figure salary to start. You just need to stop letting every raise disappear into a lifestyle you'll be numb to in 3 months anyway. So let's go back to Alex, standing there confused about where all his money went. Alex's problem was never the size of his paycheck. Alex could earn $100,000, $200,000, and unless something changed inside his head, he'd feel exactly the same. Because he was chasing a number, when the number was never the answer. The feeling of being broke isn't really about how much you make. It's about the distance between what you earn and how you live. Close that distance on purpose, keep some of the gap, and put it to work, and something strange happens. The knot in your stomach starts to loosen, even before you're rich. Because for the first time, you're not running on the treadmill anymore. You're finally building something that's yours. So here's the question I'll leave you with. The next time more money comes into your life, and it will, you get to make a choice most people never realize they're making. You can let it quietly raise the speed of your treadmill, or you can step off, keep the gap, and start walking towards something real. More money was never going to set you free. What you choose to keep is what sets you free. And now that you know the difference, you'll never look at a raise the same way again.